Okay, so today we'll be discussing about an actual data science problem. So where what we want to look at is how can we explore any big data set using NumPy and Pandas? How can I get an intuition? How can I get an idea about uh, how a problem can be transformed into a data science problem, or how can I figure out what are some important factors, or how can I proceed to get some insights from this data, right? So we are doing this as a salary exercise, which is on Kaggle. Okay, so this is
Okay.
the so it is basically explore San Francisco city employee salary data. So it has data about salaries of employees of this city, San Francisco, right? So it
Yes.
has employee name. So this is what my data looks like. This is what the description is already given in the Kaggle website. So it's a so you already must have heard of Kaggle, right? So this is what my data looks like. It has an ID, employee name, job title, base pay, and then I am getting them histograms. So in visualization that we started with Matplotlib, this is we learn how to plot these kind of graphs, right? So it is giving me a distribution and individual values. So it is a collection of rows and columns, okay, where all my rows are every employee with the employee name and job title and all multiple columns. Like 26 columns are there: base pay, overtime pay, other pay, right? So this we need to explore, right? And maybe figure out, so we can plot these kind of plots, right? Visualizations. So this is all I'm discussing a problem which is already there on Kaggle platform, right? So this is all we will be exploring this data set using Pandas and NumPy, whatever we have discussed like till now in the course. Okay, so let me just start back. Yeah. So we want to explore this data set. So we'll start with importing NumPy, importing pandas, right? Because we'll be using pandas, right? And the whole data set is stored in form of a CSV file with us. So we can just have a look at our uh, yeah, so this is my CSV file actually, right? If you want to open it in Excel sheet, you can open it there also, but this is what essentially my data is. So I have some ID, then name, then what is the post of that particular person, then maybe the base salary or some other thing, some other feature.
Sir, how do you download a page, sir? Or how do you extract it from website?
So presently it is already provided in the form of a data, comma separated value file or a text or a Excel file, right?
Okay.
So you can from Kaggle, you can download it by going through this download data set, right? Just go
Okay.
to data and download dataset. You can get the CSV file. See, salaries.csv. It's the same. You can just download by clicking there. So you can get all this data in CSV format. Okay.
Okay.
And there are other ways also where if you want to just extract data from Facebook or from other websites, right? So then you have to do some web extraction APIs, right? So it's a different a stream altogether where we extract data from websites. So this is also one way which can be used. So this is I have how many rows? It is around 80,000. So I think it's more than 2 lakh. Yeah, 1.5 lakh. Yeah. So with the data is of about 1.5 lakh employees. Okay, so so I am reading this data into a variable called sal, which is a pandas data frame, and I'm using this function read CSV, right? So whatever my data was there in the CSV file, now I have all the data in the sal variable, which is a data frame, right? So just to get how my data looks like, so instead of loading the complete data set, I'm just using cell.head, right? So if I run this, it is not defined because this cell needs to be run before it. Okay, so if I run this, it looks like this. It has multiple columns: ID, employee name, job title, base pay, and it is much more readable as compared to a Excel file, right? And I do need to scroll down, down, down because I'm just printing. By default, head will print only top five rows, right? So if you do head -5, I think you will get the last 5 rows, right? Yeah, like this, the last five. Okay, so this is now my oh, I have all the columns now. Maybe like what can I predict, or how can I approach it as a data science point of view? So I have total pay benefits, right? And I have overtime pay, right? So I can kind of model something ki how overtime pay is contributing to total pay benefits, or how the salaries is distributed among different employees, among different job titles, right? If they are the job titles repeating or not, right? How many people are earning above than certain amount? What is the average salary of the people, right? Year wise I can do some kind of work. So how can I year wise, what was the average base pay of employees, or what was the average base pay of employees under this job title, right? All these kind of discrete level work I can perform, right? So let's get an idea about a data set by using this method called info. Cell.info will present me all the columns, right? So how many columns do I have? Then it says what is the range of my index, right? So the values are from, these many values are there, these many rows are there, and the index varies from 0 to 1 less than the number of entries, right? Then I have how many columns? I have 12 columns. And what is a not null count, right? So basically there is no null value in the first second column. So there are some null values over here, and there are notes, every value is null. Status is also null, there is no value, because right, zero non null, that means every value is null. So it's a column which is blank. What is the data type? It's float, it is an object. So all this we in just a gist, I get an idea about the complete data set, right? Now I want to check what is the mean salary of the employees, right? So I can just go to the mean column. I go to the base pay column and run this dot mean. I'll get the mean of the base pay. Right now, I want to explore what is the max of the overtime pay. What is the maximum money that any person has earned by doing overtime? So this is what 225, or I think 2,45,000 if it is in rupees, or of course it is in dollars. But yeah. Right. Next is what is the job title of Joseph Driscoll? So suppose there is a person who I want to fetch in this data, right? So whose name is this, and there is a note, use all caps, otherwise you may get an answer that doesn't match up, right? So basically I want an exact match of Joseph Driscoll. So there can be an entry with these small and this small camel casing, but this is complete matching. So how can I filter out just one employee based on this condition? His name is Joseph Driscoll. So I can do this indexing, fancy indexing that we learned in pandas, right? So in the salaries data frame, go to this particular location, like salary, where employee name is equal to Joseph Driscoll, right? So this whole thing will return me a data frame, and from that data frame just get me the job title column, right? So let's do it maybe one by one. Right, so basically this is my cell dot head, right? Now I want to fetch what? I want to fetch this particular column, job title, right? So can you do you want to help me out, or
So,
Yeah, sure, sure.
so what should I do?
Can you repeat, sir? Like, you need to get the maximum. Yeah,
Job
what
title.
it is? Sir?
Yeah,
Job title.
I need to match this thing. I want to look for a person whose name is Joseph Driscoll from my data frame cell. So his name is Joseph Driscoll, and I want to match it to some column. So job title will not give me the item. I need to match it with employee name, right?
employee name.
Okay.
So
So first we need to, employee name. We have to be giving it to Joseph Driscoll.
Yeah, Joseph Driscoll.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. So if I run
Yeah.
this, so I get a one.
Next,
So basically, if I want to fetch just this one.
so we have to close it, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So I was just because it's this thing. So it is giving me just
Yeah,
one.
under salary. Yeah.
Yeah, and in
One
this
row,
row,
exactly,
I
sir.
just want what is the job title of this person,
so
right?
how does the
Okay.
second cell work out as well?
So without this thing, if I'm just filtering this out, so basically it is just giving me in all my data frame, it is running this condition and giving me true, false, true, false, true, false. So basically this whole thing is true at only one of the points where this thing is true, right? But now
Okay.
I want to see, just check out what give me that particular row only. Then I will say, okay, pass this condition on my cell data frame, right? So basically go to cell data frame, apply this condition and give me only that row, right? So I get the complete row where this condition is matching. Now inside this condition, I want what is the job title of Joseph Driscoll. So how can I fetch job title? It's a column of this thing, right? This is a data frame. So I'll just add one more thing over here, which is Joseph Driscoll, right? So I should do it in steps, or is it fine? I don't know. It's fine. Yeah, better to do it in
Try,
steps.
sir. I think the base pay would be better, sir.
Base pay would be better. Yeah, but the question here is asking for
Yeah,
job.
job title. Okay,
Yeah,
job title. Yes, sir.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, job
If it's
title. Yes, sir. Yeah. So job title under double
Yeah,
quotes.
this
Yeah,
is my
brilliant,
answer.
sir.
Yeah. Okay, so this is how I get the title of this particular person, Joseph Driscoll, right? Now,
Yeah,
suppose
and one more thing, what I observed there, sir. One more thing, what I wanted to share. I think lowercase, so it is case sensitive here,
yes, yes, yes,
isn't
it
it?
is exactly the same name you have to enter.
well, sir,
So
then
base pay, you can get the base pay values, right? So just by changing any of the, okay. Yes, yes. Chaitanya, you were saying something.
so we'll have to again. So
What?
I said I forgot that comment, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Which?
Where suppose if the person wants to write, but he is not sure if the name is in uppercase or lowercase.
Yes, yes, yes. Then you will apply this condition.
The
Joseph Driscoll dot lower,
If
right? Just
condition,
match.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, you will get this value first, then apply dot string over here, right? Dot lower, dot upper, whatever you want. That you can do.
okay.
Yeah, correct. Okay, so the point here is that after doing this filtering, I can exactly, I'm getting this row corresponding to this particular person, and I can see whatever value I want to get, observe, right? What is his base pay? What is his overtime pay? What are the other pays, right? Like this. So base pay, job title, everything I can print out. Right now I want to get, okay, what is the total pay benefits of the same person? So basically I'll just change the column name over here. Total pay benefits, I'll just put it here instead of job title, right? Same thing
Okay.
inside. So go inside cell first cell employee name should be equal to Driscoll, Joseph Driscoll. This thing will give me a boolean array, right? Boolean data frame, true false. And if I pass this in my again back it to salary, it will give me the exact same row, and on that, from that row, fetch this column, right? So I'll get this particular value. It's like that. Okay, just like list and 2D arrays we used to do, same thing. Okay, now next question is what is the name of the highest paid person including benefits, right? So basically you have to tell me by total pay benefits, what is the name of the person who is the highest, right? So we have to maybe sort or do max on this basis, and then fetch this particular row corresponding column, this corresponding to the same row, maximum row. How can we do that? It's kind of simple, right? So in the condition, what we pass is the total pay benefits should be equal to total pay benefit is equal to max, right? So there has to be only one, or like there can be multiple rows, right? So suppose total pay benefits is 10,000. So if like 5 people have total pay benefit is equal to 10,000, then I have 5 answers for that. So I can have to print like all the names or just one name. So you give me all the rows where this thing is true, and you give me the max. Yeah, right. Now if I do this, I get my, this is that row where the total pay benefits is maximum, right? Getting this thing. So in,
Yes.
yeah, right. And I have to fetch the employee name of that person who is earning to a maximum, right? So how can I do it? Just pass the column name. The output of this whole thing is a data frame. It's a row, and I can see if I want to see a column in that, I'll just pass in column name. Okay, inside square brackets.
Okay, sir. What?
Nope. We cannot hear you, I think. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. Yes, Anu.
Hello.
Yeah. 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 We
Yeah.
can hear you now.
So what we need to do, if the same total benefits is same to 5 more people like that, we need only one person in that area. So what the command is?
So you can that now, since this total pay benefit is same for those 5 people or multiple people, then you have the option whether if you want to sort it in any of the, so sort the by employee name, alphabetical order of employee name, or whatever you want, the base, any other factor you want to apply, you can apply that and print the top one, right? top one you can print, or you can print all of them. It's, you can actually like do it if you try out. Same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sir. I'll try and I'll let you know, sir.
Yeah,
Definitely.
of course, yes. So there is one more way of doing the same thing is this. So in the salary, in the cell data frame, go to this particular location, go to location, and this is the location of salary total pay benefits dot idx max. If you remember, idx max will give me the index of the maximum value of total pay benefits, right? So this means it will return me an index 0 1 2 3 4 and up to that maximum row number, right? And salary will and this thing will print that particular row, right? Like this. So this also you can use. So give me inside salary inside cell data frame, or for this column give me the id of the maximum value, right? So this thing is a column, it has float integer values, the whichever, find the maximum and give me the index of the maximum value, where in the which row is the maximum, right? And this thing makes it print out just that particular row, right? Pass this filter into my main data frame, so I can get an output like this, in this way. Okay, next question is, what is the name of the lowest paid person including benefits, right? So I want to figure out the lowest paid person. And so if you, and tell me what you notice something strange about it, right? So there is, so in the salary column, total pay benefit should be equal to total pay benefits dot minimum. Previously it was maximum, right? Minimum, and you print the salary of that. Print the data frame complete row. So this is the complete row of the person who's
Negative.
Yeah, negative. Yeah, the strange thing is his total pay benefits is negative, minus 16.83. So it means instead of getting money from whatever employer, he owes money to the employer. So it can be a glitch, or it can be a special case where some loan remains unpaid, or this guy ran out of the company, he does not showing up for work, and there is no whereabouts. So any strange thing can happen. Most often that it is just an error, right? So you can treat it like so this was the next part. What do you notice strange about how much he or she is getting paid, right? So now I want to print the employee name, so I'll just pass the employee name, so I can get the just the employee name, Joe Lopez. Okay, so next question is, what was the average mean base pay for all the employees as per year? So the data is from 2011 to 2014. For the period of 4 years, so what was the average base pay of all the employees year wise? Right, simple. We have discussed group by, so I need to group by year, and for the complete year you have to find the average of the base pay. So I'll do data frame group by year, this column, and you find the mean, and you print the base pay column. So this mean will perform the mean operation on all the integer columns, and from that I am just printing base pay column, right? Same thing, or that you just find the mean of base pay column and print the base pay column. But yeah, this is the format for group by, because we call it on data frame by some column, and then I need to use an aggregate function. So mean is an aggregate function. Okay. Next is how many unique job titles are there? So in the data frame column, we have seen that there is a column job title. So I want to figure out how many different job titles are there, right? So I can do salary job title, sal dot job title, go to this column, find the n number of unique items. So there are 2,159 unique job titles. So there are around 1.5 lakh people, employees, and their roles are only 2,100, right? Next is yeah, suppose this is what, let's run this. So I want to fetch job title. So I want to print out the top 5 job titles, right? So what are the value counts, and print me the top 5, or all the 5. There are only 5, I guess. Yeah, this one. So basically it is saying salary job title, give me the value counts and print me the head of that. So basically there are 21. So these are all the job titles that are possible: transit operator, special nurse, registered nurse, public police officer. All these are the job titles, and value counts means how many times they appear, because there are only 2,200 job titles and there are 1.5 lakh people, right? So there has to be some repetitions, no? Because everyone has some title. So
Yes.
this value count function gives me the frequency and the key value, right? Same. Now I want, so what are the top 5 most common jobs? So basically these are the job title, most common will be the top 5. So I just want the top 5 rows. So I can do dot head, right? Because this is, see, not everything is being printed because there are 2200 rows. So I can just see the head like this. So when you are running this on a data set, like on a cloud server, and the row contains maybe 5 lakh data entries, and you print everything every time you want to see, then your system will go very slow, right? So this is how what we use to filter out, like dot head, or just to a small operation we try to run. Okay, next is top 5 most common jobs, head 5 of the same things. Cell, job title, value counts, the head 5. How many job titles were represented by only one person in 2013? Okay, so it is job titles with only one occurrence in 2013. So basically the question is, in the year 2013, how many job titles were represented by only one person? So basically here we saw, this is the job title, number of person. So how many job titles are there for how many job titles are there for which the number of person is 1 and the year is 2013? So in 2013, how many people, how many job titles were there that were represented by only just one person? Okay, so this I have to filter out. So there are like kind of two conditions. So first of all, I just want to filter out where my year is 2013, right? In that year, and that in the job title column, the value count is equal to 1, right? So this is one nice way of doing it actually, right? So I'm printing the sum of all those counts. Maybe like let's do it one by one so that it will be better for all of us, right? So in the cell, let's print cell dot head, right? Here I want to fetch out the column, the number of rows or entries or employees which belong to the year 2013, right? This is 2011, I want just 2013. So I'll go to cell, then I'll pass cell dot year should be year is equal to 2013, right? If I print this, I'm getting only these many rows, right? See, I have reduced from 1.5 lakh rows, I have now around 37,000 rows. Now here I want to see in the job title column. So if I print job title, yeah, if I do job title, I think, yeah, TITLE, right? So this is the number of just the job title column for this condition. Now I want where the value counts, the occurrences are equal to 1. So I'll do value counts first, right? I'll do value counts now. So this is I am getting the value counts for all the job titles. So basically you can see one more thing, in this particular year, all the job titles were only 1051. So you cannot say that those 2500 job titles are constant throughout the years. So at a particular year, people were having these kind of jobs only, right? Only these many thousand jobs. Okay, this is one way. Now I want to check out where this thing is equal to 1, right? So basically I want to pass, or maybe I just want to get the sum, because I want to count. So where I want to count where this thing is true, where this count is 1, what is the count of all that? So basically it's 1, so I can just sum it up, right? Okay, so sum function should be applied in parenthesis, right? 202. So the answer is 202, right? So it will be better if I just do Control Z, or not Control Z. Maybe I just remove this, and I just remove this. Yeah, if I print this next, I can go ahead so that when you go through it, you remember. Alt enter. Oh, sorry. What did I do? Yeah. Yeah, so I'll paste it here and I'll pass this to, I'll get job title, right? I should do alt enter, and from job title get value counts. right? This is the value count is equal to 1. You can change it to, and then I can print the sum, right? This is the answer. Or you can apply some lambda functions also, right? So I want the, so this is the next question actually. Yeah. You can try to do this by lambda function, or if you want to write a for loop, whatever things come to into your mind, how that I should be able to solve this problem by using some for loop or anything, which you can do. You should try that. And if you get stuck, we can discuss, right? So next question is, how many people have the word chief in their job title? So basically chief mate, chief officer, or chief intelligence officer, whatever. So in all the job titles, how many people have chief in their title, right? So basically we can define a function, chief string, where I will pass the title, and if chief is in the title dot lower, right? So the title can be anything. I'm converting the title into lowercase, and if chief word is there in the title, then return true, otherwise return false. Simple, right? So how can I use that? So basically salary job title dot apply lambda is equal to chief string, right? So basically in this title, job title column, apply X such that chief string of X. So basically you take job title and apply this function to each and every value and give me the answer. And that answer will be true and false. And if I find the sum of true and false, I'll get the number of persons having chief in their job title. Okay, because false is 0, true is 1. So this will be a column of true and false. I'll just find the sum of that. Okay. So these things are actually like you should practice when you're at home or you are getting some time, because these are all of these concepts we are using just to explore normal data, writing my own functions, right? Yeah. So next is, yeah, it's fine. Next, so one more thing is that chief string, yeah, we are not doing dot lower. Keep it in mind, because so just to cover all the cases where this can be all caps or this can be all small. So we are converting everything into lower and then checking. Right, then there is there a correlation between the length of the job title string and salary? So basically this is a bonus question where you want to maybe refer to your school mathematics or statistics. What is the correlation between length of job title and salary? So if your title is long, do you get more salary? Or if your title is small, do you get less salary? Is there any connection? So so we know that there is no connection with the length of the title, job title, and the salary, right? So just to understand or make this concept concrete, we can try to find a correlation. Correlation is how two parameters are related, two features, two things are related to each other, right? So if you have more height, you have more weight, or like that, something like that. Or if you are if you play enough, you get less sick, something like that, which are kind of related. So mathematically there is a calculation which we can perform to get a number. So if the number is equal to 1 or -1, there is very high positive or high negative correlation. If it is closer to 0, the correlation is, there is no correlation, right? This we have discussed before also, I guess, right? So I can just find it by salaries. I can pass two columns. I can do dot core. Core means stands for correlation, and there is no correlation as we see. Okay, so this is it with this exercise. And there is one more exercise, exactly same thing you have to perform on a different data set. And now that we have seen matplotlib also, then you can try to plot some of these columns. Okay, which anyway we'll learn next. So this is, I would recommend you please go through this exercise, which is e-commerce exercise, right? Same thing, you have to read from CSV file, then do this .info method to understand how many rows are there, what are the different columns, then you have to apply some functions on the columns, do some value counts. So all of these things will become like very known to you. Some function we have to write to split a column entry like this. Okay, so lambda functions, you will have to go back to Python revision. So please go through it on your own. It will be for your own benefit, right? So I guess we are done here. So what next you want me to discuss? If it is going to be matplotlib. Yeah, okay.
You can just like explain, sir, one regarding matplotlib. I think Chaitanya, if you are done
Yes.
with it, yeah,
Yeah,
I already watched that video, the previous one.
Okay, so
Yeah, yeah,
we'll go through the Matplotlib exercise, which you anyway have to try yourself. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah,
We'll
so
try once and
yeah,
yes, sir, we will try once.
so here it'll be like the Matplotlib. So yeah. So Matplotlib is a plotting library where I can plot two columns in a data set, or I can plot two parameters just like x is equal to y square, x is equal to y is equal to x plus 1, y is equal to x plus sin x, something like that. Mathematical functions, it is used to plot that, right? So we are starting with creating our own random data, and then we'll be exploring different data Matplotlib plotting functions. Okay. So I'm importing NumPy as NP. Then I'm creating a variable X, which is basically a range from 0 to 100, right? So it's a number. Then Y is equal to X into 2. So Y is equal to 2X and Z is equal to X to the power 2, that is X square, right? So I have 100 numbers, then 2 times those 100 numbers, then square of those 100 numbers stored in 3 variables. Now I want to plot this data. So I have to use import matplotlib pyplot as PLT. So I want to import the functionalities of the matplotlib library into my code by using this. And I am writing this line of code to get to see the output in the output cell, just for that, for the sake of uh, mm, ease of reading. If you are using any other IDE, you have to use plt.show function instead of this. This is only used in Jupyter notebooks, right? So I am basically, so I'm using object oriented type of plotting, right? So basically I'm creating an object plt.figure is a blank canvas which I'm creating. I'm calling it fig. It is a variable, right? And on this, I'm adding my axis. So x is equal to figure dot add axis 0011. These 4 parameters are the from the, so basically this line of code, let me just run it one by one, right? So plt.figure will not run because these two are not run yet. And yeah, so if I'm putting this figure over here next, so if I run this now, so I get a figure. So this line is giving me a figure, like a blank page to draw my curve on, right? So next line will give me what? Axis, right? So basically, oh yaar, kya ho raha hai? Yeah. So now this is, I am just adding on this blank canvas, I'm adding this axis. Okay. Axis means what is the margin from left hand side, what is the margin from bottom, and what is the height, what is the width of my axis, right? Then I'm plotting my graph on that, right? It is x with respect to y. So my x was 2 times of y. So at 20, my x is 40. At 40, my y is 80. At 60, my y is 120, right? So this is what I'm
Yes.
plotting. Next, I'm plotting something. What is the x label, right? So now I have x, just like I draw on a graph paper in my school. Same thing. I can do it here. Next, I want to plot set what is the y label. So this is my y label. What is the title of my plot? I can just add ax axis dot set title. What is axis? What is the title? Anything I can write. X versus y, height versus weight, whatever. Right. Next question.
Yes.
Yeah. Next is how can I create some two figures inside each other? Right. So I can create a figure object. Then I have to add two axes, one for the outer, one for the inner. Right. So I will add two axes and I'll give different parameters. So this will be the bigger one because no margin from left and right from and like full 100% width, 100% height. One means 100%, right? And for the next one, 20% from the left, 50% from the bottom. Width and height is this. If I run this, it looks like this. If I change these values to maybe like 9, it will look like this. See, it comes out somewhere here. So this is, you can change and try different positions. Next
So
is
is it in respect? Is it like in respect to the previous figure?
yeah, 0 0 with respect to 0 0. So basically this bottom left corner is the starting point 0 0. Okay.
Okay.
Next is I want to plot x with respect to y on both the labels. So how can I plot? This axis has name ax1. This axis has name ax2. I'll use axis name to plot my curve. So axis 1 set label x, axis 1 dot plot x with respect to y, set label x and y. Same thing I'll do axis 2 dot plot set x label x and y. So basically I'm plotting same thing on both the curves, right? I can change it to also. So x with respect to z, and I'll change it to Z. So now I'll look like this. So this curve is the normal one and this curve is different. x cube. It is c going to the power of 10 to the power of 4. Okay, this way I
Yes.
can. Next is yeah, so basically these two axes given locations, how can I create axis? So this is simple, just pass this into add axis and we'll be able to do it. Simple thing. Next is how can you use so I have to basically in the same plot I want to, so the limit is x limit is 0 to 100, 0, everything is right from 0. What if I want to zoom in somewhere? I want a particular interval. How can I do that? So basically in the same axis, just plot x with respect to z. I can do this plot, and the second ax2 which we created up, I can set these all parameters are same, x label, y label, title. Then what should be the x limit? What should be the y limit? Starting x limit, ending x limit, starting y limit, ending y limit. Like so, like this I can provide. I can get a plot like this. So x goes from 20 to 22, y goes from 30 to 50, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so how can I plot multiple plots? I can use fig.axes and plt.subplots. N rows means in the complete canvas, give me 1 row and 2 columns of plots. So I'll get like this. In the axis, I will be axis 0, axis 1. So this thing will be axis variable is a list of axes formed out of subplots. So I can call these axis 0 plot something, axis 1 plot something like this. I can give the color, I can give the line width, I can give the line style. All this we have seen in the matplotlib lecture, right? So
Yes.
next I can plot I can provide figure size like this with columns
The
and
end row and end comments are the columns are like prefixes, you know, so like
you
different.
can change 2 3 also you can do. So if you want to do 3, it will look like this, right? Like this. So this blank I have not
Okay.
already, it is looking like this. So the meeting is ending. Let's see. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.